It's DocuSign Good Code Hackathon 2020, and the hackathon has officially launched. I'm Caly Heasman, the Developer Evangelism Director at DocuSign. And to get you started today, you're going to hear from me, as well as our friends over at the Forest Stewardship Council, about what you're going to build, and most importantly, what you're going to win. So first, if you haven't already, head over to the main hackathon website on DevPost at the link on your screen. Be sure to sign up now so that you'll get all of our announcements and updates throughout the hackathon. You can also join our hackathon Slack channel so that you can ask questions and find other people to team up with if you don't already have a team. And lastly, we're going to be hosting Twitch streams, virtual events, mini contests, all sorts of things throughout the hackathon over on the DocuSign API Twitch channel. We'll do live coding, demo sessions, we'll walk you through sample integrations and use cases, and you can ask all of your technical questions live. So, before we get into the challenge and why we're here, and yes, the $10,000 grand prize for each of the categories, which of course is certainly a draw, I do have a couple of special guests joining me today live from FSC. The first is Joanna Novakovska, Deputy Technology and Information Director from FSC, and she will walk us through the challenges later. But first, we're going to start with Loa Verm, FSC's Senior Outreach and Engagement Officer, who is joining us now and who is going to show us what we're working towards. Loa?
Thanks, Caly, and hi, I'm Loa. You may recognize FSC as this, a label on a forest product from a sustainable source. But we're so much more than that. We're a global community of companies, NGOs, and social organizations who came together more than 25 years ago with a shared vision to realize the true value of forests worldwide. We have a unique democratic structure where we give an equal voice to very different interests. This makes us the incarnation of CSR. This is also why we encompass such different groups as IKEA and WWF, why we have both the Sami people and the Maasai people, and why we can stretch from Norway to Nicaragua. We work for a positive change in this world through mutual recognition of local solutions solving global problems. We work for a world where we actually solve the climate crisis. We work for a world where peoples and communities have a fair chance. We work for a world where forests and animals are thriving. We work for forests for all, forever.
Thanks so much, Loa. It's a pretty powerful message. And we here at DocuSign are so excited to be partnering with FSC. Obviously, DocuSign is committed to the forests. We have a DocuSign for Forests initiative where every year we partner with a different nonprofit who works on the important issue of saving the forests. It's something near and dear to DocuSign's heart. But Loa, I'd like to hear a little bit more about what that relationship is like for FSC.
Well, we're so excited about this hackathon and about DocuSign in general, because this is a true chance to innovate for our forest and for sustainability in general. Of course, there's the part where you change away from paper and prints because you use online digital signatures through DocuSigns, which we're, of course, ourselves transitioning to. But there's also the very big innovation of ensuring sustainable forest management worldwide. And this is where we can use technology, because all of you developers out there might not know it, but there's very likely a certified forest near you, and they are in need of your help. If we want to ensure that we bring sustainable supply chains to our forests worldwide, we have to solve a very real problem that we're facing, that we cannot do audits currently due to COVID-19. And how do we solve that? We need you. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about our mission.
Wow, thanks so much, Loa. And I think that helps all of us understand a little bit better about why what we're doing here in this hackathon is so important. So, all right, now that we know that FSC certifies forests all over the world and a little bit about what they do, let's talk a little bit more about the certification process itself. And for this, I'm going to bring in Joanna from FSC. Joanna?
Thank you very much, Caly. So it all starts from standards, which includes requirements or rules for sustainable forest management or for how forest products originating from those certified forests should be handled. And FSC does exactly that. We develop standards through multi-stakeholder processes. And then, if a certificate holder is interested in implementing our standards, they do it on a voluntary basis. Whether a standard is implemented or not is verified by independent third-party certification bodies who come to the ground to certified operations every year to check implementation of our rules. Certification bodies are then additionally overseen by Assurance Services International. And when a certification body confirms that our standard is fully and correctly implemented, they issue a certificate. With this certificate, certificate holder can label their products or put claims on their sales materials. We have two types of certification. First type of certification is certification of forest management. And in this case, we will have a standard for foresters, telling them what they should do with the forest in order to achieve sustainable forest management. We have at the moment around 200 million hectares of certified forests with less than 2,000 certificates. A product coming from such certification will be usually raw logs, or different type of other raw forest materials. However, you probably haven't seen raw logs or other type of raw forest material on the shop shelf too often, right? This is because before you can buy something as a paper, a pen, a table, a cork bag, these materials need to undergo multi-step processing and to travel from one wood producer to another. And this is where the second type of FSC certification comes to play. This is so-called chain of custody certification, or certification of the supply chain between the forest and the final product. We require that every entity between the forest and the final product is certified so that we can be sure that the material really originates from certified forests and is well documented and well handled along this whole supply chain. We have at the moment more than 30,000 certificates of chain of custody, and this type of certification will be in the focus of our hackathon.
Thanks so much, Joanna. I think now we all understand a little bit more about how the certification process works. So next, if you could take us through a deep dive of the Hackathon Challenges, please.
Thank you, Caly. I'm so excited that you will be helping FSC in this important challenge because as many NGOs and as many other companies, we are struggling in COVID-19 times. Our certification process is based on annual site physical visits of auditors to certified operations. So with all restrictions around traveling in COVID-19, auditors cannot go and perform on-site verifications. As a consequence, many certification processes are on hold, and therefore our mission gets compromised. So what you can do about it? Help us to do audits remotely. With your help, we want to develop an application that reflects the real certification process. We want this application to be as ready as possible so that we can use it. Because of resemblance to the real certification process, this app has many steps. And for that reason, we divided this super app, as we call it, into 3 sub-applications. First sub-application is introducing a new step in certification process with self-assessment, where an applicant for certification will be describing how do they comply with our standards and sharing the data with the auditors in advance. In the second application, certification body will be helped in deciding whether remote audit is actually acceptable or not. This is because we don't grant remote option just like that. We do restrict it depending on the risks to our supply chain integrity, which may be triggered, for example, by a certain location or type of operation. Ideally, resources developed in App 1 will be used in this second application. And the third application is about facilitating the actual virtual audit, the visit of an auditor to the site to see certified operation completely independently. We want you to find tools for auditor to manage the image stream without having any control by certified operator.
And Joanna, that's where the drones come in, right?
Exactly. We are very excited and looking forward for very cool innovations from developers in this part. Now, technically speaking, the main challenge in application number 1 is to develop different data schemas and interfaces for entering and exchanging the data, which are compatible with FSC schemas, which we will provide you for the hackathon. So we want you to make sure that all resources work together and speak to each other. Additionally, we want you to find good tools for exchanging the data and information between applicant to certification and the auditors. In application number 2, the main challenge is to expand further on those schemas and those interfaces with, on one hand, traditional data, on another hand, on GIS data, because we want that certification body can be supported by spatial analytics in deciding or in assessing whether the remote audit is even possible, considering FSC credibility or risks to this credibility. In application number 3, the main challenge is again even further expansion of data schemas and interfaces with the data and technology that will be used in this virtual inspection of an auditor of certified operation. Ideally, the resources or tools developed in App 1 will be used in application number 2, and resources developed in application number 2 would be then used in application number 3.
So those are our 3 challenges from FSC. And Joanna, this hackathon is a little bit different than others that our developers might have participated in before, right?
That's very right, Caly. This is because we want to be innovative and we want to embrace the spirit of working together in COVID-19 situation. So what we want you to do is to collaborate on development of the super app in which those 3 sub-applications are integrated and they work with each other in one flow.
Yeah, that's right. What does that mean? So we want to reward you for working together in that spirit of global collaboration. So if you can build all 3 of the FSC applications yourself, or ideally, if you can work with other groups to combine all 3 apps into one single seamless app, you will win our collaboration prize of $15,000 for the group that does that the best. All right, so thanks so much, Loa and Joanna. We really do appreciate the partnership, and we are really looking forward to this. So for all of you, to sum it up, you have several choices on what to build. You can win for building the best app in any of the 3 app categories that FSC is looking for, which are an assessment app, grand prize of $10,000, a qualification app, grand prize of $10,000, or a virtual audit app for $10,000. And I know I mentioned it a little bit before, but it bears repeating. You only have to build one of those apps to win. But if you can team up with other groups and build all 3 into one app, you can win the $15,000 bonus collaboration prize for the group that does that the best. Additionally, we're going to give out $2,500 to the team that makes the best use of Esri geocoding APIs. Our friends at Esri will also be joining us for webinars throughout the hackathon to talk to you about how to make the best use of their awesome GIS data. Or finally, if you have your own nonprofit in mind that you think would really benefit from digitizing their processes using DocuSign's e-signature or other APIs, we have another prize category just for you. We will award a first place prize of $7,000 and a second place prize of $3,500 for the app that makes the best use of DocuSign's e-signature or other APIs to creatively solve for a critical need for any nonprofit company you choose. And these here on the screen, really teeny tiny, are the terms and conditions for participating. And obviously, they're way too small to read them all here, so please be sure to go read them over on the DevPost site. And that's about it. I'd like to thank my guests, Loa and Joanna from FSC. Thank you so much. And for all of you, we'll be hacking from July 7 through August 31st. I invite you to join me on Twitch with the rest of the team, and we're really excited to see what all of you are going to build. Good luck.